this is all we're doing. So we begin in our basic grip. We can imagine swinging, striking, even if we open it, we go long, it doesn't matter. But once we finally go in, whether it's doubled or open, we're usually going to get into a clinching range, be in a fight. So what we never want to do is try to imagine that in the context of a dynamic fight, punching and wrestling, that you're going to be able to find the tip somewhere easily. It's not going to happen. It's going to be too rough. So I always want to go to hand clinch first. Normally empty-handed, we'd be looking at palm to palm or some kind of palm tree kind of grip like this. But it's enough to do ball and socket where I have the weapon hand thusly and I just grip it with my second hand because I don't want to relinquish control of the weapon. And all I want to do if I want to maximize the weapon now is I'm going to feed from here to catch it. I may not be able to reliably know where the tip is, but I'll always know where the stalk is coming out of my hand. So I grab it nice and short and then I only thread it to the length I need. Even hits like this are extremely destructive to the body, so I got to be careful. If I have just the basic pull of my drop, that's devastating on the neck. If I add a snap inside the neck, that's extremely dangerous. So we don't want to do it in class, but I want to look that I have enough length to have leverage. And the primary areas I'm working with are my shoulder and the face, so that if I start to control now, I have good grip. I have my thumb notches that can go into the side of the neck, or my knuckles as well for lift, and that gives me good openings for hits if I want to. If I go longer than this, first thing I'm looking to do is to cross under myself. So now I have a good basic choke, and I would always work in the direction of the undercrossing. So if I cross here, I am usually pushing there. I would go for sweeps and throws from here. I would step here, I'd headbutt here, I would work with hits here. So again, I bring it however it is. I get up into a hand grip first, train myself to find the stalk, thread it down to the length I need, and then I teach myself to punch under. When I punch under, if I was punching under vigorously, there's a lot of leverage provided by this that will displace the trachea. So I want to be careful, because you see the skin getting pinched, but the trachea is also a good deal out of alignment. And that's quite devastating right away. Right? So that's the first thing I want to look for. So basic hits, driving, controlling, punching under with my full torque of my body, like I was delivering a cross underneath this thread. I will triangulate you so you get different body types. Switch, don't kill each other now. You have a long time left. All right, Kimonian. So, same deal, so the person's in, however we go. So however it is we get to the back, we get to this rear position. We floss, make sure you have the length you need. So one of the things people do often is they take too little and then they don't know how to work it and they pull, but they're the ones holding on. You got to remember, you can release. So what ideally I do is I always make sure I take at least 2 to 3 hand lengths so I have a little bit of room to floss the neck. And just being able to floss the neck then allows me more easily to get underneath. So as we play with that, even if he's resistant, if I'm having trouble getting in, I can always pat that, right? A little hammer to get up. But this is the primary shot I'm going for, then I catch it. And so now if I floss, it's much easier for me to find my length. I want to have enough length now that when I do my stab under, I can wrap around my hand one time. And so that's going to pretty much do the work for you, right? And then that's an extra lever. So I'll show you on Monsieur Bib. So I come in, whatever entry I'm using, I'm right at the hands. I catch it. I floss it, I drive under, and now I go around my hand, like that, right? So it's very important. I always have to know how much length I need. At least I need a 2 to 3 hand lengths of width before I can start to floss and work. And then from there I can give a little bit more, because I can always release. I go under, I can still give more, and this is doable with your length of waist belt, right? We're all slimmer gents, and that's all we're looking at, about 34 inches, so an average waistband belt. Boom, drive under. There's a lot of work you can do with extra with a scarf or something longer, but this is quite easy to do with a belt. So again, basic control, stab under. My hand helps as well, and then I snare it. I could release this temporarily if I needed to, but it's always stronger if I keep that. This hand has very little obligation now, and now you have a tourniquet. So you'll see, I'll just show once I'm dead. So when I'm in that position, I come up and I catch. And so once I get that, it's very fast to get that. And now if I rotate my hammer fist up, it's tight. So that facilitates all of your sweeps and throws that you'll do after.
Now here are just a few pointers about grabbing a lapel. A lot of people like to latch onto clothing to allow them to steer their opponent and also to deliver very close short-range hits that come in under the radar. Most people grab directly like this. The big danger is the position of your elbow. Your elbow needs to be nice and low and tucked. If it's too high up, your opponent will be able to get in underneath your arm for either underhooks or hits, And if it's too flaccid, they'll also be able to steer you by your own elbow. When reaching across your opponent, you got to be very careful about hyperextending your elbow. A rotation from your opponent's torso can hyperflex your elbow, dislocate it, pop your capsule. So you want to keep that elbow nice and low. If you do cross grip, very tucked. And you want to be aware that if there's a point of diminishing returns where you feel you're losing it, then you want to abandon and migrate to a different grip. An alternative is to dump your cup out and have an inverse grip with your thumb pointing towards the floor. This gives you all the same type of striking capacity and lets you hit with elbows as well. The danger is that most people instinctively bring their elbow up high like they're doing an underhook. What I want to do is grab with an inverse grip and ratchet the elbow in nice and tight. This lets me use my forearm to push away on the body. It also protects me, my ribs and my torso from getting hit or from Bob's flaccid arm underhook. Bob's arms don't look impressive, but he has been working them diligently, and I don't want to give that bastard any opening.